I mean, yeah, just make it as a graphic gamma, but and look at how low armbearing is.
Super cherry CT and torso and arm. You ain't going down.
Big pack here from Eon. So obviously they know
like
Eon. Oh, Jesus! Can MJ12 pull something off here? Furia finishes off Growler. Honorable is about to go down. He's down, yeah. Furia finishes him off as well. Pretty red. One touch on the CT there. I think Dario's been leg though. That's bad. Oh, Data just gets CT 1. Oh, 1, 2. Oh.
Yeah, it's
Like 3, Jesus. But that's it for him. Oh, Kid 4's getting murdered by those frickin' streaks, and he's down.
Yeah, what eyes?
None of which are under 50 tons. So he is severely outmatched.
Oh, they've realised he's there now. They should be able to finish him off. Yep, Frio goes down. Yep, now John McFuzzy goes down. RJF are like, well, we got the win. We don't really need it. We got
There we
a
go.
cap. Yep, they're diving him and he's dead.
Down to 59%.
Oh, taking a stranger coming.
No one's coming to help him. This little
Doing Honorwolf doing a fine job.
oh, Draven loses a leg. He is down. He's down.
Lost the torso. Ah.
This is just a straight up scrum.
Doozle on him. Sinjo in the night gyre. Oh, he's legged and going down.
Biscuit the jab. He is gonna
Honorwolf getting legged. Just Draven Seabiscuit left. Yeah, Phoenix
Leg.
Legion smartly going for legs. Hard legs on everyone.
There right now. Raven Colt just ends a strike.
Say that's finally.
Got Fury with the each of the pack. He did a long chop from the heavens. Oh no! Fury's still alive.
Okay, there's one torso. There's no
Down, that's it.
Welcome to ToC 5 Season 2. I'm here with Ultimate Ghost from Phoenix Legion. Two teams are going to be fighting today. It's going to be Arsenal Mechs and Mechanized Division, so Spinach.
Yep, Admiral Korean Jesus standing there on Gamma, chill.
2v2.
Admiral.
And relaunched.
Well, Ghost, what do you know about these two teams? Go ahead and tell me.
They are both pretty new to the comp scene. SPNC has done quite well last season, and Arsenal, from what I can tell, has a mixture of players. Why don't you tell us what mechs
So I've got SPNC in a Huntsman Prime and a Direwolf Prime. They're spawning over here in the what appears to be the Charlie spawn, I think. And they're heading towards the center. What do you see for Arsenal?
Arsenal is bringing a quad ER large Hunchback 2CA and a 3 Rack 2, 3 AC2 Annihilator. So a lot of mid-range to long-range DPS from the Annihilator and some pokey stuff from the Hunchback.
The Huntsman Prime with the two Ultra AC10s is taking the top. He's going to be taking oversight of the arena here.
Oh, but he's getting punished by the Annihilator.
Yep, has to hop down.
For 88%.
Spinach's Direwolf Prime just coming into the zone now. He's starting to fight with the Annihilator, but he's going to need this Huntsman to help him out.
Yeah. At this range, he's gonna outdamage the Annihilator heavily.
Absolutely. It's just the matter of the difference between the two extra AC2s.
No. The Annihilator's Rack 2s and AC2s. So.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the AC2 one. Oh, we lost something off
But
the Huntsman there.
Punishing the Huntsman heavily. Lost an arm, so that doesn't really matter, but losing a lot of health.
His torso's open, the left torso's open on the rear, so if he over twists
Yeah.
at all, he's going to lose it. But I'm showing 0 AC-10s.
us,
So
that's-
oh, he still has
Yeah, that's
weapons.
terms. Yeah, the Hunchback's gun damage as well. That's peaking mech. Don't think if it matters too much.
He's still 90% too. He's not
Oh, the
taking
dire
any
wolf
damage
is
at
good.
all, really. The dire wolf
That
might
was
go
so
down
much
if he overpokes here.
Might also take the Annie though. He's halved. Seems to be going Arsenal's way. Although the Annihilator is pretty fresh CT, so it can still tank a lot. Direwolf goes down.
So I went to populate the information for the dire wolf, and it's showing that its CT is actually missing. So it's a little bit of a bug there.
It's not actually down, but it's gonna be down with the next shot.
Oh, there it goes. Yeah.
There we go. And now it's just up to the Huntsman up top.
I wonder how much ammo the Huntsman has left, if anything.
It's got quite a bit of ammo. It's got more ammo than the Summoner, so it should definitely be fine. But his left leg can be hurt, so once that goes, he can't really use mobility anymore.
On this next poke, if Spinach can take that left leg, they can definitely stall him out and finish him off.
Yeah, this one is going Arsenal's way. Clearly. It's gonna peek once more, being legged. And it's gonna be a clean swipe.
He's putting up a fight. He's not giving up. If I was the Hunchback TC at this point, I would take point for the Annihilator and just try and get this kill.
The Annihilator is super fresh, to be honest.
Oh, really? Let me have a look.
It has a fresh CT.
Yeah, sure does.
Like 50 Annihilator is pretty fresh.
Yeah, I saw the 50%. I figured he was more damaged than that. Well, that's going to do it. That's going to be Arsenal taking the victory on the 2v2. They're going to be able to pick sides and select which side of the map they want to start on Frozen Night Classic City. Frozen City Night Classic.
Also, if you go and look at the stats, like that Annihilator just absolutely found them. Get 687 damage. That's a lot for 2v2. Yeah, overall, nice damage spread for the other three mechs. No one going down super early.
Well, that was an ass whooping.
Let's see what side they pick. Okay, so we don't have the movement. That's nice. Conquest. But yeah, that was a really strong showing from Arsenal.
Well, all right. Let me bring up the map strat for a second, and we'll talk about that for just a minute.
So sadly we don't have the test A on the map start tool. But basically what happened is, so if you pretend this was map A, is team 1. Oh, you want to talk about Frozen, yeah. Looking at it, ARSN is setting up Alpha Land, so I would expect a Charlie 3 heavy push. While SPNC is setting up heavy on Charlie, so probably taking Theta, and then really, maybe even putting like an open watch mech here, but I don't know if that's worthwhile. JGX did it last season, but on a medium heavy drop. What do you think?
Are you talking about the 2v2 again?
No, but the Frozen drop.
Oh, let's see.
Okay, we're locked, so ready to go.
Yep.
Let's go. So I'm spawning on team 2 side. So do you want to shout out Arsenal's max?
Yep. We have Crypto OKI spawning in the Vapor, the Vulcan 5T with 5 medium pulse, the K9 with 5 medium pulse, and they have a linebacker with SRMs, a Jenner 2C, SRMs.
So strong meta picks with the not
Yes.
cheater. On SPNC side, so far as I'm able to click it, we have Darkfire 980, my boy, in a Commander 2D with 1 SRM6, 1 SRM4. 6 SRM6 linebacker.
Confirming that we have possession of Kappa. Theta
Probably standard 5 MPL K9. A Veagle A, so Brawl Veagle. With 1 LB20 and quad SRM2. Interesting. And a General Oxide.
Yeah, they're both kind of built for splat. Interesting thing that's happening right now is mechanized regulators have the cap. The Arctic Cheetah for Arsenal is by himself, and I think he was waiting to take the cap back if they shifted left, but they didn't. Oh, they're going for it right now. Vapor Eagle from Darth Vapor separated. How do you think this is going to turn out?
I think, honestly, this is gonna turn out in Arsenal's favor because they already have a Beagle taken down.
Darth Vapor just went down.
Trade
Yep.
with the Cheetah.
Cheetah's going down as well.
So that was about an equal trade, with Jenner 2C being a bit hurt. Yeah, but yeah, just from mech choices left, I don't think the commando will do too much damage. So
The mechanized regulators are being really patient, and they're just kind of shifting left and right to pick off any kills that any mechs that get displaced. It's
linebacker's getting pretty hurt.
yeah. Hopefully, mechanized regulators are able to cover that linebacker. He's kind of diving at the moment with the other linebacker. They got to get some damage on their heavy. The our
Linebacker's about to go down.
Yep. Both linebackers are actually kind of close, but Ghostwalker's linebacker's about to go down for spinach.
Being popped and going down. The other linebacker also goes down, and percentages are actually in favor of SPNC.
All these mechs have got to be very hot at the moment, so there's going to be a lot of moments where they don't fire because they're going to be trying to cool down, especially out of the medium pulse builds.
Hunter Shock and the Gen are taking a beating right now. And the K9 goes down. This is actually going back to Arsenal. It's just the commando left.
It's a 1v1 in the end. There's a lead on percentage by Spinage's Commando 2D versus the Jenner 2C. But the Jenner 2C has more output for damage normally, but I think he's missing an arm, so never mind.
Yeah, and he's out of ammo. Now he's out of ammo. So yeah, he would have to win by kills, because they kept the 1 point anyways. Yes.
Voodoo Starship goes down. Darkfire has all the time he needs to just kind of wait for the cap to fill up, and they should have it in just a second. The win's going to go to Spinach, Mechanized Regulators. It was a good fight, though. Very even. Big comeback for Arsenal there for a moment. Oh,
Nice effort from both teams.
When was Kappa capped? Oh. I just
that's
noticed.
that's my thing.
Oh, they started the doomsday clock. Oh, no. Oh, good for them. He's got plenty of time to decap this.
GG's. Did you grab the match API?
I did.
Just put it in the ticket.
All right, I'm gonna bring up the scores as they stand now.
Okay. So what happened there is basically what I predicted, with SPNC taking the cap early. And Arsenal trying to rush into Charlie 3, Charlie 4, but then have to go for the cap. So turning around and contesting that. What do you expect for Terminating?
Well, if Spinach keeps going the way that they're going, I honestly think that they're going to go ahead and possibly deliver another close victory. It's kind of hard to say based on what I just saw which side really is, going to elevate themselves above the other. We'll have to see what happens after this match to kind of really determine who wants it more.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, mechanized regulators are coming in with 10 points right now in the matchup, with the addition of the 2 points from, or without the 2 points from the 2v2. Arsenal's not that far behind. They have 6 points. If they take the win here, they'll pull the lead for sure.
Okay, we're both ready. Let's go.
Yep.
With Arsenal doing an even split between Bravo Charlie on Team 2. It seems like they're either gonna rush or set up some super long range stuff on Fox 5, Fox 6. So what team do you want to do?
I'll do Team 2.
I'll go for Team 1 then.
So the cap is Kappa. You can do a brawl strat here. You can also do range. There's a lot of possibilities. It all depends on how these teams want to play it. So we'll see exactly what they decide to do. Right now, from Arsenal on the Team 2 side, I'm seeing a linebacker D, an Orion VA, another Orion, so dual Orions, onion soup, Jenner, and a Cougar C. So it's going to be quite brawly for them. What do you see on the mechanized regulators?
On SPNC side, we have Nesny in a Mech K9, Darkfire again in the Commando, doing great work last match. We have an LB10 Warhammer from the Ghostwalker, a 6 UAC2 Night Gear, and my man Darth Vader in the 6 Lerm 15 Nova Cat.
I think we might have a DC. It looks like the teams might have called a hold.
They do have hold. Hunter Shock seems to not be moving.
Understood. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens here. Hopefully you reconnect soon.
If I can go through the SPNC mix and click on them while we're waiting.
Okay. Got a Ryan ToC from Crypto OKI. He has. Oh, my bad. SPNC. Darth Vapor with LRMs. Ooh, that'll be interesting. Ghostwalker with LB10 medium lasers and machine guns. Hunter Shock with 6 Ultra AC2s. So we're almost past the 2-minute mark. Is he not connected yet?
It's not.
Yeah, it's gonna be a redrop.
Sad to see. But hopefully we get a better match next time. Because that the time being low actually favors Arsenal with their push deck. Oh, it's a stealth commando.
Alright, as he's reconnecting, we'll get ready for, get the lobby ready for another drop here.
So, we're waiting for Hunter Shock to come back. We can maybe talk a bit about the division.
Yeah, let me see if I have that ready. Just a second.
So we're talking about Division F.
Okay, so from what I'm seeing in this division, you have 4 teams, right? You've got the 3.14, you have Arsenal, you have Spinach, you have Toddlers, and a Mosh Pit, right? This is probably the first game for their division, as I'm seeing that their tournament hasn't been updated, really. So Toddlers and a Mosh Pit and 3.14 Pi, I guess, still need to play their round. Looks like they're doing a 6-week round with. It doesn't look like they're gonna be taking any breaks. So are they fighting each other twice?
Yes.
They are. Oh, okay. So this is gonna be you fight your whoever in the division twice. This is gonna be pretty interesting then for this division.
If I had to guess, I would say SPNC is gonna take the division. But from what we saw right now, Arsenal might be able to contest that, and I don't really know about Pi.
Yeah, I don't know too much about these teams, but I do know that I've played faction warfare against a couple of them. They'll be okay. It should be a pretty interesting division in itself. So. So we're just waiting for the player who had a complete meltdown on his hardware to reboot. Once he's rebooted, we'll get back into the match. While we're waiting, let's go ahead and take a look at the MWO Tactics Planner. We'll look at Termaline and we'll see if we can kind of discuss what might happen based on what we saw already. Unless they change it up, they might.
There's Team 1, in my opinion, is the better side if you're going to pull a long range strat, because you can go here and have sightlines on Kappa within like 30 seconds if you're sitting in an annihilator. So
yeah, that's true. There's also a spot here that you can take on top of this mountain. Couple of spots actually, if you have the jump jets for one of them, and that'll give you overwatch of the Kappa area. So exactly. There's a good chance that you can take cap denial positions and definitely really deny. Oh, it looks like Hunter Shock is back. Let me go back over to the lobby and let's get started.
And we seem to be locked. Let's go. Let's do this finally.
Yeah.
But yeah, Team 2 also has some strong trading positions. For example, in Hotel 6.
Well, it would look like Team 2 has a similar plan. I don't really think they changed anything up. They got a linebacker, Onion, another Orion, 2C, clan side, and over. What do you see for blue team? Wait till they land if you want.
And 2T and Team 2. Yeah, seems to be the same decks again. We have an LB10 Warhammer, that's going to be interesting.
And hold the resource points. Stop any hostiles that get in your way.
SRM6 linebacker for Arsenal. AC20 SRM6 Orion. LB20 and SRM6 from Crypto OKI. It is Orion 2C. And
yeah.
the Jenner and the Cougar.
Oh, what's on Cougar?
That is a really strong Jenner 2C. That's a lot of SRMs. Do we have another hold again? What's going on? Is this from the same team?
Yes.
Is there any rules for double disconnects? Is it the same pilot? I can't tell.
Well, they can't redrop it again, and after 8 minutes. It's a forfeit in that case.
So since they disconnected twice, there's a forfeit?
Exactly.
Because a redrop can't be redropped. Oof.
Okay.
Is that just the forfeit for this match, or is that a forfeit for the entire series?
No, it's for this match.
Oh, alright.
It's not big of an issue.
Oh man, this is interesting. I've never had this happen before. But, hang on. I'm thinking, didn't Spinach disconnect last time, and now it's Arsenal that disconnected?
No, Spanish disconnected that first.
Yeah, they disconnected first, but now Arsenal disconnected, which is IR Corpus.
Hey, so what's this deal with forfeit, guys?
So we're discussing that right now. We're trying to figure it out. So the last disconnect was Hunter Shock from Spinach, right? And now
Game crash.
Yeah.
Both of them were game crash.
Now Arsenal is disconnected, right? IR Corpus is the one that DC'd.
Yeah, that's from our still. That's not from us.
Did you guys reconnect?
We're good.
Go at 610. Go at 6.
Yeah. Nez reconnected. They
Okay.
just need their guy to
All right.
reconnect.
We won't make anybody forfeit. You guys are gonna have to fight it out. Go.
Good. Let's do it.
All right. Your guys are going. So.
Confirming that we
Okay,
have
good.
possession
Sounds
of
great.
Kappa.
SPNC taking the cap early. But the commando is contested by the Jenner CC. But yeah, that's a baby boy, it's not gonna take much damage. Well, the Jenner is already almost open CT.
That learn boat from Mechanized Regulators is actually pushing these lights out of the field, so they don't have a chance to cap, unless they have support from their team, and their team is not quite caught up yet.
They need to backstab that and then get it off the field.
Yeah, that UAV also needs to go down so they can start using the edge at the very least to kind of like trade over that position above Kappa.
2 UAVs up from SPNC right now.
Let's strike hit crypto OKI from Spinach. Alright, we're waiting to see what happens here. They're just kind of holding the cap, which is a good strategy in the position that they're in with less time than normal. Arsenal's kind of in a position where they're actually just going to have to push this team if they want to take that
And they
cap.
are. They're making the decision. But crypto's getting learned hard.
Yeah, he's going to have to trade armor with the other guys on the front line in
Almost.
order to push this.
And he's
Commando 2D took the leg. Oh no. Oh, they're just going to leave the onion? I wouldn't really advise that. They should come back and get this. This looks like a quick...
Yeah.
This looks like a quick play NASCAR. Oh no. Got some good damage exchange on the front. There's actually a little bit of a good thing happening though on the backside. The Commando 2D has to fight 2 mechs. IR Corpus goes down from Arsenal. Ghostwalker gone.
But percentages are heavily in favor of SPNC.
I don't know if the Novacat has enough ammo, but if he does, he definitely needs to be protected. Because he's definitely going to be the one to clean this up.
It's also practically fresh night dew on the field, and both lights alive.
Yeah, Arsenal had their Onion 2C legged, and they went back to kind of cover it, but it left them with less mechs on the front. Spinach was able to really capitalize on that because they didn't have enough mechs to basically push that Lerm boat, you know, allowing it to just farm away. Darth Vapor and the Novacat's going to have a big damage score for sure.
That's some big farm.
If you're going to push into the open like that against the enemy team, against a team that has a Lerm boat, you have to take it down. You have to push all the way to it while you're engaging the others. Unless you have ECM or AMS in order to kind of counteract it. Spinach is going to take this matchup 5 kills to 1. And we're going to move on to the next map.
Yeah, 600 damage on that Novacat. That's a lot of fun. Crypto getting learned early with double D'ing. I mean, there's not much more to say.
Alright, stats capture, I'm looking at it now. You have Darth Vapor with 2 components destroyed. Ghostwalker destroyed 4 components in his Black Widow. Even though he went down, he definitely was taking pieces off of Arsenal's mechs. You can see damage output was kind of less than probably he wanted from Crypto OKI. He was in the Onion 2C that got legged on that corner with the Commando. Not a whole lot of team damage. I mean, Voodoo Starship kind of hit one of his teammates for 12, so that wasn't really much of a cause for them losing all 5 of their mechs. It really just came down to you know, the separation that occurred when the Orion 2C got legged by the Commando.
Yes. And we go on to River City.
So I've got the River City map strat up. So what I've seen from Team 1 in a couple of matchups, and compared to what we might have done yesterday when we played our game in Div B, you can spawn a lot of like tradie mechs in Alpha, and just take that position in front of Gamma to control Theta. Theta's the cap point, obviously, but it really comes down to capping Theta and controlling it. You can take a brawl strat from Team 2 and just kind of like, you know, try to push across the river and engage whatever Team 1 has set up, but it's difficult to do because of the way the buildings are. I mean, you have to take this single stairway here and try and push up where Gamma is. And then there's always the chance that either team could accidentally cap Gamma. A good way to play this also would be to kind of ignore the Fox 7, Fox 6 area and use the Citadel, which is the Gulf 6, Gulf 7 area. You can get in here, play in between, control the cap from there, come around, harass Team 1. So, I mean, Team 2 has quite a few options as far as where they want to approach from. They can go through the Echo line, hop over to Airport. They can go through Rock Park, Fox 6, and attack the enemy. Team 2 kind of has that kind of a brawl option, but they do have a trade option as well. They can take the buildings in Gulf 5 and Fox 5 and just trade across the river into the city wherever Team 1's set up.
They could also take Upper City, and they could also take Echo 5 if they really want to have Overwatch on Theta.
Exactly. The only issue that Echo 5 has is if Team 1 were to push across the river, there's this low ground area that you really have to have like arm mounts to shoot the mechs if you're up in Upper City, and you can kind of get snuck up on, right? So if Team 1 is able to pull Team 2's line towards Echo 5, then retreat, they have the option of basically full map control.
Yes.
So I have good news, Ghost. All of my casting things are working now, so I can actually cast.
Great.
Yeah. No, the lobby IDs weren't updating, unfortunately. Well, hopefully they can finish out the rest of these maps without any more disconnects.
Yep. Sure hope so. Because my team's gonna play in a few minutes.
Yours is?
Yeah, yeah, God Squad.
Well, good luck to them.
Okay, we're all ready to go. This is 3 mediums, 2 assaults. So we are probably gonna see a heavy fight over the cap between those mediums. But teams might also decide to go with a Vigo for more firepower.
I'll watch Team 1 first.
Okay.
Alright, you have Team 1 spawning away from Airport. They have Vindicated in Annihilator 2A, Grey Orca and Black Lantern E, Voodoo Starship and Crab 27, and Shia 76 and a Cyclops 10Q. And they also have a Wolverine Quarantine on their side. I'll get the weapons here in a bit. What do you have for the other team?
We have Hunter Shock and a 6 Ultra 2 Annihilator. We see always been Ultra 2s. We have an 8 AC2 Direwolf for Nesdany. We have the Brawl Vehicle from the first match again, with the LB20 and SRM2s. And we have a Kantaro 18, so SRMs, and an Ice Ferret.
They brought a refrigerator with them. He's trying to take the cap at the moment as well.
It's a 5-year medium fridge. But yeah, Arsenal have a year here. Slightly off of the cap.
Team 1 is, or Arsenal's taking a center approach, moving towards
Theta is
Citadel.
controlled by the enemy.
SPNC taking the cap of that fridge, putting pressure on Arsenal. It's a 5 SRM6 Kantara without Artemis.
It almost seems like Arsenal's kind of waiting for an opportunity to like engage the mechs, but I mean the way that Spinach has the cap at the moment, they're gonna have to make the move for the cap in order to start the engagement. Ooh, Crypto just got shot in the back by a teammate. That's not good. He's trying to take the cap. Spinach is doing a good job of trying to deny it. But he's going to need Ghostwalker's going to need some help from the team, I think, to really deny the cap itself.
And they decapped, which is barely enough. They still have the pressure on them though at the moment.
The Kintaro's just getting hammered. He's down to 69%.
It's open. Pretty hurt. I think that build even runs Excel. Yes, it does.
Crypto kills the Kintaro. He is down. But Crypto is a little bit isolated. The Ice Ferret for Spinach is trying to move in on him.
So he still got backup from both the Crab and the Black Liner. But now he's overextending. Trying to catch the later.
Both teams are just eating tons of strikes too. Like I've just seen so much artillery damage go out.
Those Vindicated's Annihilator just hammering with those racks.
He's doing a great job of staying back and just like preserving his mech. But he just went down. That must have been an ammo explosion because the Direwolf really didn't have line of sight on that Annihilator. Arsenal takes another kill. Spinach takes a kill.
Arsenal takes one more with the Vape Eagle, but there's still a fresh Annihilator on the field. So I think this will go in SPNC's favor.
The Direwolf back there is just completely like unopposed at the moment, and with the Annihilator 2A basically screening for him, this Crab has no chance.
The Annihilator is just absolutely fresh.
Alright.
But another relatively close game, to be honest.
All they gotta do now is just take the cap, and that's theirs.
Theta is controlled by the enemy.
Oh shit. That Direwolf
just... Yeah, completely dominated. Yeah, 36 team damage from Hunter Shock from the Spinach guys, but I mean it didn't matter. Not with Nezdany's 1,000 damage that he put out, 1,200 almost, in the Direwolf Prime. The Annihilator supporting him as well with a clean 700 damage put out. Yeah,
that was some maximum PT2 fine.
Yeah, that was a really good Overwatch for them. Alright, I'm just going to bring up the scoreboard as it stands now. We still have one more map or two? Is it Canyon now?
2.
Oh, 2. That's right. Okay.
It's Rubelite and Canyon.
So as it stands now, the Spinach Mechanized Regulators are leading by 30 points in the matchup. Arsenal Mech Warriors are locked in at 10 points. There's still a chance to come back if they win these 2 next matchups with 5-0 and they have 5 kills and 0 deaths, and they have the cap that could make up 20 points, and we'd be looking at a tie, I would think.
Yeah, but even then, this league is about points, so...
Yeah. Well, they'll get their chance again, but they need to make as many points up as possible. So hopefully Arsenal can start pulling it together. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happened on River City really quick.
So basically, they just... Team 2 set up an Annihilator and Direwolf right there, with the mediums taking data and pulling back around this corner, while Arsenal just basically rushed with the Annihilator going up this ramp. So trading 2v1 against the 2 assaults.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. You had Team 1, basically, they spawned the Wolverine here. They all, the 4MX and Bravo, and they all basically just head up to the Citadel, right? And they, Spinach had the cap at that point, and then they just kept feeding their mechs into this pocket and just getting annihilated by the Direwolf and the Annihilator on that line.
Exactly. We're going to Rubelite, no?
Some more Trials of Combat action coming right at you. Here we go.
This is the heaviest drop so far, 3 assaults and 1 medium, 1 heavy. Let's see what they are bringing. On SPNC side, we have the AC2 Annihilator again.
Capture and hold the resource points. Stop any
With 8 AC2. A quad PPC Supernova for Arsenal. So what did the teams bring in?
So, you have a Mad Cat 2 for Spinach, you also have a Direwolf Prime, a Nightjar B, a Blood Asp, and a Viper C. It looks like they're going to be setting up for cap control. Hopefully the Viper is a good pick for them as far as like getting into the cap, taking it, and holding it. We'll see how that plays out.
Oh, that's an quad ATM3 and dual LB20. Mad Cat.
Oh,
Holy
really?
shit. Yeah. My man, Darkfire. SPNC deciding for the Rifleman 2C over the Night Gear, and LB2s over UX2s.
Arsenal definitely has a good cap advantage for where they've spawned, because the cap is slanted in their favor. It's actually slanted towards their team. So, I mean, Mechanized Regulators, Spinach is going to be hard-pressed to take the cap later on. They really need to take it now. Darth Vapor's going up again. We'll see what happens. But it's just him versus this Black Lantern at this point. He's going to need help.
Theta is controlled by the enemy.
There was team damage from Destiny shooting the Viper.
Huh. You know, the Nightjar and the Direwolf are in perfect positions to kind of, you know, trade with the enemy, but with the way that their guys on the bottom are kind of set up, they don't really have any cap control. They need to establish, you know, kind of the wings, so they need to split up a little bit. As it stands right now, both teams are set up in really good trade positions, but they should utilize the platforms a little bit if they can to kind of box in the enemy trade line so they can establish complete cap control. Spinach making a move for the cap. Grey Orca sees it, puts some damage on the Viper, forcing him off the cap.
Yeah, as long as they can hold that small cap advantage, they are forcing SPNC to push while having more push max.
The Blood Asp is moving onto the cap. He decaps it. Let's see if he can take it. All the Viper needs to do is just do a quick run through, and he'll definitely put some pressure on the cap.
They had to make.
This is good. Yeah, this is really good for them. I would honestly say playing on the cap and using the center tower as cover is a great move for that Blood Asp. He could probably last there for a while.
Yeah, he even gets the full cap. That's super good.
He's not even retreating either. It's like Arsenal is just kind of giving the cap up at this point. They need to put some pressure on this.
Really.
Yep.
They should have sidelines from the top, to be honest. But they are just too focused on trading with the AC2 max.
Arsenal is winning its trades, though, from what I can see from the percentages of health.
I'm just shocking Nightju getting hurt a bit.
Sappernick and the Blood Asp decides to move off the cap. He's moving down towards the Cyclops and the other two mechs. We're going to see if we have a really good engagement here. Rifleman 2C's just pushing him away with AC2 fire. He doesn't want any of that. But as he backed up, he might have put himself into a position where he might die from crossfire. The Mad Cat 2 Darkfire is fighting two mechs on his own. He has no help.
And he goes down.
Spinach has the cap. They should really just stop with the aggression. They don't need to do anything besides hold the cap. You know,
they just overwatch the cap of those AC2 max, do nothing else.
Yeah, they need Arsenal to come to them, but it's almost like they're getting aggressive, trying to, you know, move in and try and you know, get extra points. But I mean, the match is far from over. They shouldn't be doing that.
Rifle goes down.
Yep, that Rifleman 2C on the bottom from Crypto, he's doing work. He's just forced a Blood Asp out of position and just killed the Viper 2C as well.
Which is honestly the best play he can make right now.
Yes. Especially with 4 minutes left in the match, that's plenty of time to recap this. The Blood Asp, if it has any weapons left, needs to respond. He is. Good.
And the Rifleman's halved. Nightju is super hurt though, down to 2 yacked.
Grey Orca from Arsenal is actually making a flanking maneuver. I think he's going after the Direwolf Prime. We'll see what happens here in the next 2 minutes.
It's the most dangerous mech on the field for SPNC right now. With both the Blood Asp and the Nightju being sent towards orange.
Spinach's Direwolf isn't even reacting to these back shots. Now he's turning, but it might be too late. And he goes down. Good move on Arsenal's part for the flanking maneuver.
And there we go. That's a clean 5-0. They just need to get the cap right now, and they practically won the game.
If they get one more match like that, they'll be back in this and basically tied with SPNC.
Really nice comeback.
Yes. So there's 140 tickets, but it's separated by the 40 that Arsenal already has.
Theta is controlled by the enemy.
They should be able to get the caps, no problem, with all the mechs they have up.
They
need to split right now, though, if they want to overtake them.
They just need to get more cap than they've won.
Yep.
And that's still like 121 kph Black Lino in the field. Like, I don't see a problem with that.
No, they got it.
Black Lino on this map is super strong because a mask and speed tweak Black Lino can rush the cap super quickly.
Kappa is under enemy
Yeah,
control.
the Black Ladder was extremely strong in the previous ToC Season 1. We saw it all the time. It was fast, it has mask, it can evade quickly, get on cap, off cap, and it's also a good flanking mech as well, with multiple loadouts that you can field on it.
Yeah, but PPCs against AC2s, if you have, is almost always going to go in the favor of the PPCs because they don't need to expose to the AC2s. That's what we saw though right there. On like the long range trades.
Yep, we're definitely familiar with that over in GMX. We see that a lot. PPCs are really good against AC2s in most lineups.
Take a look at the damage numbers. Nesny farming a lot again in the Direwolf, 757, but the Warhawk challenging him with 600 damage, just keeping those AC2 max suppressed.
Not seeing a lot of like huge damage numbers from Arsenal on this victory, but you know they're very even. So everybody really like kind of put in the work to get this victory.
Yeah, to be honest.
There's quite a bit of team damage from the Blood Asp. I don't know when that occurred during the match, but 89 team damage, that could have been like an open back. You know, it could have contributed to the loss. It's possible. But, I mean, good damage for both teams. They just didn't have the kill secures that Arsenal did.
It's also a thing about AC2s. They don't kill as well.
Alright, I'm going to bring up the scores for where we stand now as we get Canyon Network ready. So, last time we looked at this, Arsenal only had 10 points. Now they have 20. So if they can do this again on Canyon, we'll see a tie game, which is great for both these teams starting off in their division at the very beginning. 30-30 split, even points is going to be really good. If Spinach, the mechanized regulators, gets 10 points on Canyon, that's going to put them in a huge lead with 40, and I anticipate that would be really good for them. But Arsenal needs to come back on this map for sure. I'm going to bring up the map strat now for Rublight. We'll just do a quick recap of what happened. So from what I was able to see, the Team 2 took the Echo 7 Ridge, and they held it very well. Blue Team took the Echo 4 Ridge, and they had tons of mechs on it. Lots of them. And then there was a little bit of a skirmish in the middle over Theta. The Arsenal team had the cap first, right? I believe they did.
Yes, the Team 2 had it first, and that was one of the important fights, the Viper and the Black Lantern. I think one of the others was down here, under the roof, the Mad Cat against the Cyclops, which both of those fights were won for Arsenal, and in my opinion, won them the match.
Yeah, and then I remember later on the Rifleman 2C from Team 1 was able to step underneath the platform on this side, and or no, it wasn't from the other. It was from this side. Yeah, okay, I got this backwards. He stepped under from this side, and he was able to pressure off the Blood Asp that was basically holding the cap at that point, and he was going to push with the Mad Cat underneath the fight with against the Cyclops and the Black Lantern, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, those 2 fights basically, or maybe 3 fights, they just gave them full cap control after that.
Well, let's go ahead and look at Canyon. Cap point is Theta. And this is kind of a weirder matchup compared to previous Trials of Combat. For Season 2, they're doing 150 tons, right? And you can have 2 duplicates. Or 250 tons, and you can have 2 duplicate mechs.
Yeah, 1 duplicate. So I think we'll see a lot of dual Vulcans, just because they are super tarnish deficient for what they're doing.
Yes. You could even bring 2 fleas for an example, and really like bring a lot of weight in assault mechs, if that's something that worked for your team.
You can't bring dual Annies though.
No, but if you bring 2 fleas, you could bring like a Mad Cat and a Cyclops, for example. So it kind of opens up the opportunity to maximize whatever you're
go.
Copy that.
Let's see what these teams bring.
Hopefully they brought some jump jets. I know those are pretty important on this map, especially if you get stuck in a trench.
Yes, they are. I honestly don't think this will go 5-0, like to either side.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see a NASCAR.
It's not gonna be a brawl where there's gonna be at least 6 deaths, from my experience. So I'm gonna look at SPNC smacks.
Copy. I'm ready to look at Arsenals. Well, go ahead and let's shut them off now, I guess.
Yeah. Darkfire in the SPM6 SM4 Commando again. Darth Vapor in a Highlander 2CC with 1 UAC-10, 1 UAC-2, 1 ATM-9, 1 ATM-12, and 3 Mad Pods.
It's not a crazy build. It has a little bit of everything.
It's super crazy. Hunter Shock and an IV4, that's MRMs. Nesdony and a 12 EOS Small Nova. And the Ghostwalker in a Muslings G with, that should be machine guns and smalls.
Yep.
SPNC contesting the cap super early, getting shot off by ER Largers.
Arsenal moving in with the Vulcan 5T to contest the Muslings G on the cap. He takes a little bit of fire from the quick draw. He's overwatching it. But I wonder if they'll notice this Black Lantern coming up the ramp right now.
Yeah, taking advantage of that duplicate rule and taking 2 Vulcans, as I said, that's a super strong combo. I mean, there's a reason they were the most taken mech last Worlds.
Looks like Arsenal's going for legs. Grey Orca's taken quite a bit of damage, but so has Ghost Walker and his Mistlings. Arsenal really needs to kind of utilize the Hunchback 2C a little bit more on the backside if they're going to use a range mech. He's finally getting some use, but he has no cover from his team. I think the Mistlings G is going to move in for the gank.
Nova seems pretty alone though. Nah, he's backed up by the guy before.
Spinach is just doing a great job of just holding the cap at this point. They're not willing to let Arsenal take it. Voodoo Starship and the Hunchback 2C reuniting with his team, but he's bringing the Mistlings with him. Let's see if that Mistlings goes down because he followed him this far. They turned towards the Mistlings, but you know they were chasing a squirrel. The Highlander 2C is coming around the corner right now and hit the Roughnecks back a little bit.
But it's been punished.
Mistlings coming back into the fight.
Oh, the IV4 goes down?
Yep.
Commander is annoying the Black Lantern a lot.
Even though
really finishing that Vulcan.
Yeah, even though Spinach is down a mech, like Arsenal is all over the place at the moment. So I mean, I think that's going to cost him.
Yeah, essentially just end mechs now in favor of SPNC. Although if that Hunchback can finish the Mooslings, or at least get the arm off, I think that's super worth it.
It's 3 versus 4 at the moment, and the Black Lantern's fighting 2 alone. He's going to need some help from the team.
And it's 2v4. Let's see, he might want to just finish the Mooslings.
Hunchback 2C's on the cap. I don't think it's going to matter much if you're the only guy left.
There's no reason.
He needs to be helping out that Black Lantern. Unfortunately, he goes down.
The enemy has enough resources. We failed.
Arsenal tried for the comeback. They were a little bit, you know, they spent too much time in the ditch. In my honest opinion, like, you know, you want to take the high ground on this map. They were just kind of split.
Yeah, Nova farming a lot. With 12-year smalls. It's a pretty fragile mech, but once it gets in range and you don't punish it, it can farm.
Yeah, not a whole lot of team damage for either side. The Nova had 5 components destroyed, along with the Highlander having 6 for Spinach. Honorable mentions from Arsenal. You have Vindicated in his Vulcan with 325 damage, and the other Vulcan close behind it with 304. Really close. I mean, both Vulcans kind of did what they were supposed to do, you know, hitting and then running and retreating, you know, doing hit and runs, targeting legs, but they didn't really have the support from the Roughneck Powerhouse and the Black Lantern that they really required, you know, and the Hunchback 2C. If you're going to play up close, everybody should. You shouldn't really, like, put somebody in a range mech unless they're, you know, a god among mech pilots.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and populate the final scores.
So quick up.
What's that?
I already did it. Yeah, you shouldn't bring a long range mech on.
Hey guys, hey, thanks for shoutcasting it. That was really good.
Yeah, not a problem. It was kind of my first time coming back to casting, so it was a little rough. But
yeah, I haven't seen you in a minute, but no, and I'm glad because it saved me the headache of trying to coach and and host a match because I was trying to work. We lost Commodore and Saturn and Ted from our last tournament, so we lost sort of our big guns from our last one, and so now these guys coming in here, except for Darkfire and Darth Vapor, they fought the last round, but they were the followers. So now we got Nez and Hunter Shock used to be an F-37. He was with us. Nez is really sound, so they did good. But we didn't have any coaching from Jay-Z or anything this time either. Nobody came out to help like they did last time. So
I see.
yeah, but that's okay. It's a little bit of chaos working on it, getting it better, trying to get the guys more. It's hard getting 10 players to practice. That's the big thing. We really have a hard time getting an additional 5 so we can do 5v5s.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. So, for the
Hey, Crypto,
2v2.
what's going on, buddy?
Hey, man, that was a great game. Awesome game.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun fighting with you guys. Vindicated. I guess he didn't understand that you pick when you win the first round, and after that it alternates. Kind of funny, you know.
Yeah. Also, one thing about the Germany drop. Who came up with that Learn Nova Cat as a strat?
And what drop was that?
3 heavies, 2 mediums, 2 lights.
Oh, you talking about the River City drop or
Tourmaline?
Oh, Tourmaline. Oh, that was let's see. I think it was Darth Vapor. We probably because he's really good with the ATMs. So we knew if we came in at Team 2 or Team 1, which Team 2 actually had the advantage. That's one thing, Crypto, that I would recommend. We always started in Charlie more so than Bravo. You put your mix at a slower pace coming into Kappa, because remember, there's 500 meters difference between spawn points on Tourmaline Desert. It's pretty spread out. So as soon as we got up there, we had Darkfire go with his commando down to get the cap started and then form the Ridgeline Fire Group. And well, it's a great ATM position from that side. So I just start drilling them and just defend the cap. So that's what they did.
I think Crypto can tell you how devastating it was.
The what?
Yeah, so if you're talking about the Tourmaline drop, so what happened was when we arrived, we were not in order. We were not in group orders. So the first thing we had to do was got into a group formations, and by that time, I think you are already in positions to set up a long range sniper. Our plan was to rush you as soon as we drop, but it didn't work out because we had that disconnect, and then we had to restart. So when we restarted, so we were not together in a group because we have 2 Orions, and our plan was just going to rush you and then shoot you and kill you in that way. But it didn't work out because then we had the long range. So, and once we got to our assembly area, we had 2 choices: either go left, which is lower the valley, or go right, which is the top of the valley. And I chose to go top. And the plan was to go after your missile boat first. And we don't have any missile boats, and we don't even have any anti-missile because we didn't think anybody would bring a missile either. So we went top, and what happened is you guys did really good because you stopped the lead push, which is me, and you took out my legs, and I couldn't continue anymore. And then we swap out the other Orion. He continued on, and he killed your first mech. His mistake was what Vindicate and told me was that his mistake was he didn't go after the missile boat. They should have go after the missile boat first, and that was the factors. But I think to me the game factor was that you send your light mech to stop the lead push, and you did that. And when you stopped the lead push, there was some chaotic on our side. They lost momentum.
Well, and that's a strat we did last tournament because that map and that cap is the same. The only thing different is the map chassis. But the strategy we used was very much the same as the last one. We had coaching from Jay-Z from 228 on that strat, so I can't take credit for it. But I know what you were thinking. You were thinking, well, if we came in on the Charlie side and went around to the right and came down up the F6 line, you would ambush us from Bravo on the right flank. But we went around the borderline side. So that threw your game off because, and that's what I figured that you guys were probably thinking about as soon as you said you'd rush in and kill us. That only works if you take that valley down into Cap on the right-hand side. It does not work if you go around the left. And so that's why we tried to fight a distant war game with you guys on that.
Yeah, and we don't have a choice to adjust. We knew we had a disadvantage from a distance. We talked about a little bit, and we were debating should we go right or go left or go top or even to attack, or just wait for you to come. But I made a decision. We have to rush them because we don't have a choice. We don't have any long range weapons. So, and what we're going to do is swap out. Once you take all the armor and swap out, we were willing to trade my armors, and then swap out, and I go to the back and rotate the next guy in. But what happened?
Sure.
But your light mechs stopping me was literally the key of that game. I don't know who operated that light mech. It was your commando, whoever.
Well, that's Darkfire, and he ran the commando last tournament too. He's really good with it, so he knows that map. And one disadvantage that you guys have on the Team 2 side is that E6 ridge line. When the commando hugs that ridge line in by Kappa, you can't shoot down at it. So in order for you to hit that commando, if he's hugging that ridge line, you got to expose, which allows the backfield mechs to hit you up front as you're trying to expose to hit the commando. So the commando, in essence, is something you want to ignore and work on the mechs on the far, because one, he can't do a super lot of damage, and two, his whole job was just to get the cap and lure you out. Because in all essence, the Team 2 has the advantage on that. That is a great point that you guys came up by, Charlie. If you go in between those two rooftops, it's a great missile defense because if you fall back there, most lerms in that can't get through and hit you from that point. Also, you have a wider view. So you guys had actually a tactical advantage on that side of the map, but you didn't use it for that. You didn't, it's a great DACA setup.
Well, there was also the
mid-range,
There was also the case of the time deficit too, due to the disconnects. You guys had literally, you had 6 minutes. Arsenal had 6 minutes to make a move, right? And I'm sure they felt the pressure when they moved down into the low ground. And then once Crypto was lagged in his Onion TC, it was kind of a situation of do we go back and help him, or do we start fighting this front line that you guys had established?
And I told them to push, and I told the order was that I'm going to stay here and fight off one-on-one as best I can because there's nothing I can do. And I told them to push. But anyway, your commander was the MVP in that game by doing his job. You're essentially trading a very light mech for a very heavy mechs, and you take out the leadership too. So the drop caller,
Well, and I'll just shout out to accolades to Jay-Z for teaching us that strat because, again, that's his deal that we used from last time, and it proved to be really effective. The team is young. They got, we're working on calling and stuff, but just like you guys, it's your first tournament. It's our second, but we had a lot of coaching last tournament. This tournament, we kind of going off of what we went off of last one, but
that was the second game. Frozen. You want to go in order? Frozen City and up.
Oh, I don't care. It's whatever you guys want to do. I'm just representing SPNC.
Interview. So I'm asking the interviewer.
A hell of a lot more that was interesting from you guys, except for maybe the Highlander 2C on Canyon.
Yeah, so
that build made me laugh. Honestly.
Now I have a question though. Why did you guys choose Bravo Lance and not Charlie? Charlie has a distinct advantage on Canyon Network. You have 3 ridges. You can come up right to that mezzanine up by Delta 5 and that, and great overwatch. That's why I was just wondering why you chose to walk the valley up instead of cresting on the mezzanines. What was the reasoning behind that?
No, we just want something central. We want to be together, and it didn't work out that we were together. If we were together, we believe we have a better chance. I mean, it's just an assumption. Obviously, we picked the wrong assumption. So if we go with Charlie, if all of us go with Charlie, or go with Alpha, the problem is Alpha and Charlie, they both an extreme of one side or the other, and Bravo is just somewhere in the middle that we can adjust from.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to do a bull rush, which you tried to do, and you know, I was coaching on that when I was trying to tell him, look, get up to theta and then just shoot down, because you would literally be in the valley of death if we would have got over there in time. But it didn't. You were able to get over and work the ramp. But the problem that you had, and I saw it, was as soon as you work the ramp, now you're exposing one at a time, because all they have to do is stay on the far side of the mezzanine, watch for pop-ups in the valley, and as you work up the ramp or you crest, then now you're exposing one at a time. But our team almost had us, because they started falling down in the valley and opening up to exposure and all that shit. So, but you guys,
we adjust on game 3, which is not Tourmaline, the one with
River City.
Yeah, but
no, the
I
one
think-
we won 5-0.
That was the one in Roulette. That's the one I followed.
That was
Yeah. Our
4.
strategy on that fell in the toilet.
Yeah, so that one we swap out. We had more. We have player. We have depth in our units, so we swap out our assault mechs, a really good assault mechs, and then we had 2 sniper, long range, and so the plan was to hide our assault mechs, and it worked out very well for us, because the 2 sniper and then us 3, me and the assault mechs, which is the catapult, working in the middle. And you guys did attempt to rush us, and but we ended up stopping you 3 against 2.
Well, yeah, and our guy that we had was Nez Denny. He was on the Direwolf with the Ultra 2s, the AC2 build, and so his job was to stop your snipers. So he was working, I don't know what it was, blood asp or something you had up there in the far ridge.
Sure.
And I said, keep him covered, because Darth Vapor was scared of your Black Lantern. So whoever's in that did a good job of intimidating him. And then Darkfire was on the other side. So I said, well, get the cap going. You guys beat us to the cap. And I told Darth Vapor, I said, don't be scared. Go catch the corner of the cap, get the cap back, then stay back down. But they lost the discipline, because in essence, by us getting the cap, it would have caused you to expose. Now, Nez, you ended up killing Nez. So we lost our counter sniper, if you will. So that was good on you guys. And then everything fell apart from there.
I think
because my objective was to wait for you to crest up, because I was in a blood ass alpha, and just try to doctor you to death as you crested up, and it didn't work. It didn't work.
Yeah. But anyways, strong showing from both teams.
Yeah.
And we'll be excited to see more from you.
Yeah, I'm excited. I appreciate it. Thank you for inviting us. The one last piece though on River City. I think to me, River City game was the game that deciding factor. I mean, it turned out to be the last game that was deciding factor, but I think the turning point for all of us was actually River City, because the only mechs we couldn't kill was the Annihilator, but we won all our fight 1-on-1, 2 against, and then we couldn't kill the Annihilator at the end, so you end up winning. But I think that at that point is when we had the confidence. We're like, okay, we can do this and we can win. And then, but when we get to Canyon Network, I think that was just a bad strategy on our part. We used one mech to sniper, and I don't think he was successful in that. And you got the top first. Because you got the top first, we were fighting from a lower ground, and so we lost.
See, if you would have shifted over, because you had the advantage. Team 1 on Canyon has the advantage with that Charlie Lance, because you could crest up on that mezzanine. So we would have never been able to take the Tiger on because you would have been docking the shit out of us trying to come across. So whoever gets that Charlie side first and gets up there, I mean, I'll tell you, when we practiced last tournament at Canyon, Jay-Z went up by himself and he killed all 5 of us by himself. We couldn't even get on top. he just was, I don't know what he took, a rifleman or some shit, but he just fucking in practice, showing us how to do it. And I was like, holy shit. So I mean, just that's my take on it. So that's why we went strong and alpha, and then brought our fast mech and Charlie, because we didn't have a lot of jumpers either, and there's the ramps, knowing the little areas to get up the ramps to get to high ground.
Yeah, and keep in mind the Direwolf and the Annihilator on that matchup did 700 damage for the Annihilator and 1,000, almost 1,200 damage for the Direwolf in the buildings on the opposite side. So, I mean,
build on that Joker is no joke.
they, it's either to the point where you need to focus those kinds of mechs down, otherwise they're just going to farm the damage to the point where you don't have mechs left to counter it.
And that's what we did in River City. I put Nez right there in the river's edge. I said, all I want you to do is provide Overwatch over them, and he did that. And that was he got a lot of damage out of that too.
Oh, I think River City, that was my best game, because I killed 2 right off the bat, just me alone. So I was like, oh, we got this, and my teammate. But the problem was the other 4 guys on my teammate, they did not focus on the Annihilator. I'm not sure what happened, but because I was busy just running around trying to kill the other 2 guys. But it just, once I killed those 2 guys, I was absolutely confident, and I was still alive. Not only I killed those 2, but I was still alive. And so I was confident we were going to win that match pretty easily. But yeah, whoever the Annihilator pilot, they did a good job, and that was the game. The game inspired us we believed that we could win the match, the whole thing, even though we lost that game, because it boosts us confidence. We're like, we got this, we're going to win it. The first match that we won on 2v2, it's almost luck, like if we win, it's great, because we won our 2v2 every time we do a pre-rehearsal practice. That I don't think, but on the 5v5, we were shaky. We lost 2 games in a row, and when we played the River City, though, we had some boost confidence.
Yeah, you guys did good. And like I said, if you want to scrimmage at any time, just hit us up, man. I mean, we're always looking for practice partners too, and that's what we did last time. In between rounds or whatever, we just fight it out and just work on our skills. So it was good. And again, thanks for Ghost and Coyote coming out to Shoutcast, making our jobs a lot easier too.
Yeah, not a problem. Really strong showing for both teams at certain points during the matchup. So congratulations to Spinach for having the most points. Congratulations on your win there.
Do you have an invite to SPNC server? If not, I'll send you.
I'm not entirely sure, but just DM it to me and I'll join it for sure. Yep. All right, guys. Well, that's all the time we have for today's Shoutcast for this match here. Congratulations. We'll be looking forward to matchups for both your teams next weekend.
Super. Sounds great. Thanks for Shoutcasting.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I sent you an invite to their crypto to our site, so you can.
Thanks. I appreciate it, brother. Hey, I'll see you all around.
All right, guys.
See ya.
All right. Good stuff.
Yeah, ultimately, I want to say thank you. Thank you for everything. I appreciate it. That was our first match tournament. We learned a lot. And the most important thing, it's not about the game actually or the tournament itself, but we made some really good friends just among ourselves. It tightened us up a lot.
Yeah, most fun in the game is comp. And you're lucky you're in a 4-team division, so you get a second chance at SPNC.
Great. Thanks. I'll see you guys later.
See you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching this matchup between Spinach and Arsenal. That's all the time we have for today. Myself, Coyote, and Ultimate Ghost were your shoutcasters today. Thanks for watching. Ultimate Ghost, you got any parting shots?
Nothing.
All right.
Go watch God Squad versus JGX if it's casted right now.
Ooh, yes. All right. Have a good day, everybody.
Hi to your game.